The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
There's something about a spring morning that just hits different. And I don't mean that in some fancy, poetic way. I mean it in the most basic, simple, real way possible. You step outside, and the air is different. It's not just warmer, it's alive. Like the whole world took a long, deep breath over winter. And it's finally letting it out. The trees are doing their thing. Little green buds pushing through. Birds making noise. That soft, damp smell rising up from the ground. The kind of smell that just says, spring. And on this particular morning, we had a plan. Now I want you to understand something about our family plans. They are made with the best intentions in the world. They are full of optimism. They are full of excitement. And they almost never go exactly the way we think they will. But that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? The boys, Tristan, Keenan, Gavin, and Colin, they were going fishing. And the rest of us, Jeremy, me, Maddie, Torin, and Annalyn, were going hunting. Not deer, not turkey, something smaller, something sneakier, something that half the people we know have never even heard of. Morel mushrooms, those little hidden treasures that grow in the woods in spring and make you feel like the greatest hunter on earth when you find one. We loaded up, we headed out, full of hope, full of that good spring energy. And by the time the day was over, the boys had one fish. And the rest of us had a whole lot of seed ticks. But honestly, it's one of my favorite stories, and I hope once you hear it, you'll understand why. Welcome back to We Are the Hansons. I'm Maya, and this is the show where we tell you the truth about family life, not the highlight reel version, not the perfectly curated, everything looks great version, the real version, the messy version, the version where things don't go according to plan. And somehow, that ends up being the best part. Today's episode is about the day that was simple, really, truly simple. No big travel, no major event, just a drive out into the country on a spring morning. A family that split off into two different directions, and a whole lot of unexpected moments waiting for us on both sides. It's a story about fishing when the fish don't bite. It's a story about hunting something you never find. It's a story about the woods teaching you a lesson you weren't expecting. And more than anything, it's a story about what happens when your family just exists together in a real moment, on a real day, with mud on your shoes and ticks on your legs and laughter in the air. This is the day the woods won. And I think by the end of it, you're going to feel something. Okay, so let me paint you a picture. It's a Saturday morning in spring. And if you live anywhere in the Midwest or the South, you know exactly what kind of Saturday I'm talking about. The kind where it's warm enough to be outside, but not so hot that you're already miserable by 9 a.m. The kind where the sky is that perfect shade of blue that doesn't happen in any other season. The kind where every single person in your house feels the urge to be somewhere other than on the couch. And for our family, that feeling pointed straight to one place, outside. Jeremy had been talking about this trip for a little while, the casual kind of talking where he mentions it here and there, and you can tell his brain is quietly working out the details, even when he's pretending he's not planning anything. He knew where a good fishing spot was. He had an idea where the morels might be coming up. And he had that quiet, patient excitement that dads get when they're about to take their kids somewhere they think is going to be great. Now, here's the thing about Jeremy and plans like this. He doesn't oversell them. He doesn't build it up too big. He just says, I think it's going to be a good day. And that's enough. That's more than enough. Because when Jeremy says that, he means it. So the morning of, the house had that energy. You know that one? The low buzz of activity that starts before anyone's really said a word. Somebody's looking for their shoes. Somebody's asking where the good fishing poles are. Somebody's already eaten half a box of granola bars and calling it breakfast. The boys, Tristan, Keenan, Gavin, and Colin, were something else that morning. I want you to understand the level of confidence these boys are walking around with. They weren't going fishing. They were going to conquer the water. They were going to come home with a story. Tristan was checking the tackle box like a surgeon checks their tools before operation. Keenan was already talking about fish he was going to catch like it was a done deal. Gavin was just kind of vibing, doing that thing where he's quiet, but you can tell he's fully locked in. And Colin was just happy to be there. Happy to be going somewhere with everyone. That's a beautiful thing about the younger ones. The destination almost doesn't matter. The being included is the whole thing. And then there was our side of the plan, morel mushrooms. Now, I need to take a second here and explain morels to anyone who hasn't been introduced to them yet. Because if you've never hunted morels before, the whole idea might sound a little strange. A morel is a wild mushroom. It grows in the woods in spring, and it doesn't grow everywhere. It doesn't grow all the time. It's picky. It's secretive. It's the kind of thing that only shows up under certain trees, in certain soil, at certain temperatures. And even then, only for a short window of time. People go hunt morels. They take it seriously, like genuinely seriously. Because when you find them, they're delicious. There's nothing like fresh morel, sautéed in butter, simple as that. And beyond the taste, there's just something about finding something hidden. Something that requires you to slow down and really look. Something that rewards patience and attention. And Jeremy grew up around this kind of thing. He knows the woods. He knows what to look for. He's got that instinct that comes from years of being in the trees. Years of understanding what the land is doing and when. So the plan was simple enough. The boys fish, we hunt. Everyone meets back up, and we go home happy. Simple, clean, good plan. I want to talk about this drive for a second, because it was one of those drives. You know, the kind where you're not rushing, where there's no specific time you have to be somewhere, where the windows are just cracked just enough to let the air move through the car, and everyone's just existing together. Those drives are some of my favorite moments. No screens, no distractions, just road and sky and the people you love most in the world crammed into a vehicle together. The boys were already telling stories in their vehicle, already building that mythology and the fish they were going to catch. I'm going to get a big catfish. How big? Like 20 pounds, easy. I think mine's going to be bigger. You don't even have your line in yet. Doesn't matter. I already know. And Jeremy was driving and smiling, saying nothing, because he's heard this song before. He grew up with a brother. He knows exactly how this goes, and honestly, he loves it. He loves that they believe it. He loves that they're still at that age where the story starts before the thing even happens, where possibility is the whole point. Maddie was talking in our car. Torin was doing that thing she does where she's half listening and half in her own world, but still somehow part of every conversation. Annalyn was taking it all in. She's got that quality where she just watches everything with this quiet kind of joy, like she's storing it away. And me, I was watching all over it, because that's one of my favorite things to do. Just watch my family be my family. There's this specific joy in watching the people you love just be themselves, not performing, not trying, just being exactly who they are. Loud when they're loud, quiet when they're quiet, Funny without knowing they're being funny. Real. That's what those drives give you. A front row seat to the people who matter most. And you think, hold on to this. You think, remember this exactly. The sound of their voices. The way Keenan was explaining his fishing strategy to anyone who would listen. The way Gavin was just calm and ready. The way Colin kept looking out the window like the scenery itself was exciting. The way Jeremy had that small, permanent smile that meant he was exactly where he wanted to be. Hold on to this. The road got narrower as we got out of town. Houses spaced further apart. Fields opening up. Trees starting to close in on both sides. That deep, thick green that only shows up in spring before summer burns everything bright. The kind of green that almost doesn't look real, like someone turned up a setting. We passed a few farms, a pond with some birds on it, a stretch of fence line that went on longer than you'd expect, and I just breathed it in, all of it, and it just felt right. It felt like the kind of morning that was going to turn into a story. I didn't know yet what kind of story, but I knew. We got out to the spot, and you could feel the shift in energy the moment everyone got out of the car. Fresh air hit different out there. No buildings, no traffic sounds, just wind and birds and the distant sound of water somewhere through the trees. The boys were out the minute that car stopped moving. The boys didn't even pause. They were out of the car and moving toward the water like it was pulling them. Fishing poles out, tackle boxes in hand, already talking strategy, already calling their spots. It's one of those things that makes you feel good to watch. Boys with a purpose, boys moving towards something they love. And Jeremy watched for a second. There was something in his face, that quiet pride dads carry when their kids are doing something right, something that's good for them, something that connects them to the world. He watched them walk towards the water, and then he looked towards the woods, and I could see the switch flip. He was now in Morel mode. He took a slow look at the trees, studying the ground, reading the landscape, thinking about soil and shade in the direction of the water.
In a world of oversharing, dating remains sacred. Meet the new Ashley Madison. Discreet dating, no public posts, no feed. Adults connecting in private. Ashley Madison, blessed are the discreet. Download the app or visit ashleymadison.com/iHeartMedia.
He does this thing where he goes quiet and still when he's reading the outdoors, like he's listening to something nobody else can hear. And then he said, "I'm going to check over here." And he pointed off to one side. He had a feeling about a certain section. And when Jeremy has that feeling about the woods, you trust it. So we split. Jeremy went his direction, and me, Maddie, Torrin, and Annalyn went ours. And just like that, the day had 2 chapters. Our chapter began quietly. We stepped into the woods on our side, and immediately the world changed. That's the thing about stepping into the woods that I don't think you can fully explain to someone who hasn't done it. One step, and everything is different. The sound is muffled. The light is softer. There's this feeling of being wrapped up in something ancient, something that doesn't care about your to-do list, or your schedule, or your worries. The woods just are, and we just walked, eyes down, scanning, searching. I kept my gaze moving slowly across the ground in front of me, looking for that wrinkled, honeycomb shape that tells me a morel is there. It's a distinctive look once you know it, kind of like a small sponge on a stem, brownish tan, blending right into the dead leaves and sticks on the forest floor, which is the whole challenge. They look like everything else until suddenly they don't. Until suddenly your brain goes, wait, that's not a stick, that's not a leaf, that's a morel. And your heart jumps. We spread out just enough to cover more ground, but not so far that we couldn't still talk. Because that's the other thing about morel hunting. It's a social activity wrapped inside a quiet one. You're searching, you're focused, but you're also just together. Maddie was somewhere to my left, moving between the trees. She's good at this, patient, methodical. She just doesn't give up on a spot until she's really looked it over. Torin was bouncing around a little more. She'd check one area, then drift towards another, following her instinct. And Annalyn was just beside me, steady, curious, taking everything in. Every few minutes, someone would stop. Is this one? And everyone would drift over. We'd all crouch down, stare at the thing, and 9 times out of 10, nope, just a weird piece of bark. Just a mushroom that wasn't a morel. Just our eyes tricking us again. And we'd laugh. Every single time, we'd laugh. Because it's funny. It's funny to want something so badly that you start seeing it in everything. The hope becomes its own kind of comedy. We covered a good amount of ground. Slowly, carefully, talking a little more, quiet a little, just moving through the trees together and finding nothing, absolutely nothing. But it was good. It was genuinely good. There's something about searching for something with other people that brings you close in a very specific way. Because you're not competing. You're not performing. You're just all pointed at the same thing, all hoping for the same little miracle. And when it does come, you just shrug and keep walking and talk about something else for a while. And then you go back to scanning the ground. Maddie started telling me about something she had been thinking about lately. One of those conversations that only happens when you're doing something else at the same time. When your hands or your eyes are busy and your mouth just goes. And I love those conversations. I love the way a walk in the woods can open up a person. There's something about being outside together, something about the rhythm of walking side by side that makes talking easier, makes the real stuff come up. Torin drifted in and out of our orbit, calling over when she found something interesting, a particularly weird rock, a beetle doing something unexplainable, a patch of wildflowers she wanted to look at for a second. That's Torin. She doesn't go looking for just one thing. She goes looking at everything. And there's something I love deeply about that quality in her. The world doesn't have to hand you what you came for. The world can hand you something better, and she'll take it without complaint. Annalyn stayed close, quiet and steady, occasionally crouching down to look at something near the ground, patient in a way that made me think she'd actually be really good at finding morels if there were any to find, but there weren't. We covered our ground well. We looked carefully. We didn't give up too early, and the woods just looked back at us and held its secrets close, which is its right. The woods don't owe you anything. That's the thing you have to understand about nature when you step into it. It does not care about your plan. It does not care about your expectations. It simply is what it is. And on that day, it was a woods full of spring sounds and soft light and not a single morel mushroom as far as we could see. And that's okay. That's genuinely okay. Because we were in it. We were present. We were together in those trees. And then something changed. It didn't announce itself. It never does. It started as just a feeling. Faint, crawling kind of itch. Somewhere on my leg, I scratched it. And I kept walking. Then it was there again. Not in the same place. Somewhere slightly different. I stopped. Looked down at my legs. And then I heard Maddie. Hold on. Her voice had that specific tone. That tone that means something is wrong and I'm trying to stay calm. She stopped walking. She was looking down at herself. I think something's on me. And that's when all 4 of us stopped and started looking. And that's when we saw them. Seed ticks. Okay, for anyone who has never had the joy of encountering seed ticks in the wild, let me explain. Seed ticks are baby ticks. They are larvae. They are impossibly tiny. We're talking smaller than a pinhead, almost invisible individually. And here's the thing about seed ticks. They don't travel alone. They cluster. They hatch in batches. And when you walk through an area where a cluster of them is waiting, you become their destination all at once. And that's exactly what happened. At some point during our walk, we passed through their territory, and they had found us, all of us. And they were not just on our legs, they were moving. Little tiny specks, barely visible, crawling across our jeans, our socks, our shoes, in every direction. Now, here's the thing about a moment like that. Part of your brain goes completely still, and another part of your brain starts screaming, and the part that's screaming wins. Maddie went into a full action mode immediately. She was brushing at her legs like she was trying to win a contest. Both hands, both legs moving fast. Get them off, get them off, get them off. Not panicking exactly, but absolutely not calm. Torin looked down at her legs, made a face that I could only describe as deeply offended, and started doing the same thing. Brushing, slapping, shaking her legs like she was trying to kick something invisible, and screaming very loudly. Annalyn had this look on her face, that look of someone who is trying to process information that doesn't fit neatly into anything they've experienced before. She looked at her leg, looked at me, looked back at her leg, and then started brushing too. And me? I was doing all of it. I was brushing my legs, I was looking at my arms, I was checking my waistband. I was trying to stay in charge of the situation mode while also being very much not in charge of the situation. Because here's the honest truth about seed ticks. Once you know they're on you, every single sensation on your body feels like one. That little tickle on your arm, tick. That slight tug on your shirt, tick. The wind on your neck, tick. Your brain stops being a brain and becomes a full-time tick detection system. And we were all running that system at maximum capacity. There was this moment where all four of us were standing there in the middle of the woods, brushing ourselves frantically, looking at each other, and then one of us started laughing. I think it was me. Actually, I think it was Maddie first. No, definitely Torin, but that doesn't matter. One of us started laughing, and then all of us started laughing because what else do you do? You're in the woods, you found 0 mushrooms, you're covered in baby ticks, and there is nobody coming to save you. You just laugh because it's kind of hilarious. It's genuinely, honestly kind of hilarious, and also still very uncomfortable, but mostly hilarious. We stood there in the woods, laughing and brushing ourselves off, making declarations like we were giving speeches. You definitely did not get them all. Okay, I definitely did not get them all. Should we check each other? We were absolutely checking each other. There is a very specific moment in an outdoor adventure when the adventure is over. Not because you decided it was over, not because you checked the time, but because the thing you're doing just tells you. It says, you're done here. And in the middle of those woods, covered in seed ticks you couldn't fully see, that message came in loud and clear. We were done. No mushrooms, no second wind, no trying a different section, done. We turned around. And I want to tell you that we walked calmly and gracefully back through those woods. I want to tell you that, but that would be a lie. We walked fast. Faster than we'd been moving during the search. Like the trees behind us were the source of the problem, and distance from those trees was the solution. Every few seconds, one of us would stop walking, brush off a leg, mutter something, and then keep moving. Maddie kept saying, I think that's all of them. And then a few seconds later, okay, that's not all of them. Torin was doing a full body shimmy every 30 seconds or so. Like if she moved the right way, the ticks would just decide to leave on their own. Annalyn had mastered this specific expression of calm disgust. Like she was deeply disappointed in the ticks on a personal level. And I was just leading the march back, trying to be the steady one, trying to be the voice of reason, while also completely abandoning all dignity to brush at my ankles. We made it back to the edge of the woods, back to the trail, back toward the truck. And the spring air that had felt so alive and beautiful an hour ago still felt alive and beautiful. But now it also felt like relief. The truck was right there, and it had never looked so good. We got to it and stopped. And before anyone got inside, there was this unspoken agreement that we all needed to do a full inspection because nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to bring Tix into the vehicle. So we stood there in the gravel, doing a combination of checking ourselves and helping each other check. Pant legs rolled up, socks checked, waistbands checked, shoes tapped against the ground, the whole routine. And I want to tell you, we found nothing. I want to tell you the brushing worked, and we were completely clear. But I think we all knew, deep down, that some of them were probably somewhere still on us, too small to see, which is its own special kind of knowing, the kind that makes you keep doing that phantom itch scratch for the rest of the afternoon. But we did our best. And once we felt reasonably okay about it, we opened the truck doors, got in, sat down, and just existed for a second. Quiet, completely mushroom-free. And then someone started talking, and the Tix stories began. Because here's what you need to know about our family. We process things by talking about them immediately. The moment something happens, we start narrating it back to each other, not to relive it necessarily, but because there's something about turning an experience into words that makes it ours. That makes it a story. And this was already becoming a story. Maddie was describing the moment she first realized what was happening. Torrin was explaining her brushing technique in detail. Annalyn was offering a fairly scientific rundown of sea tick behavior, and I'm pretty sure she made up on the spot, but sounded completely convincing. And I was laughing at all of them, because this is my family. This is exactly my family. We didn't have to wait long before we heard Jeremy coming. You always hear the boys before you see them. It's just how it is. There's a certain level of noise that follows a group of young men back from an outdoor adventure, whether the adventure went well or not. They came back through the trees with their poles and their tackle boxes, and I could read the energy before anyone said a word. It wasn't defeated, but it wasn't triumph either. It was that specific post-fishing look, the one where the day was good, but the fish had their own agenda. Jeremy looked at them. Well, there was a pause. That short pause where someone is deciding how to say that thing. We caught one catfish out of all of that preparation, out of all of that talk, all of those confident predictions about 20-pound monsters. One fish. Now later, because this is our family and we always get the full account eventually, I heard the whole story of what happened at the water, and it was a good story. The boys had set up along the bank with complete confidence, holes in the water, serious expressions, sitting like veterans. Keenan claimed the best fish spot first. Tristan set up downstream and immediately declared that his spot was actually better. Gavin found his ground and got quiet the way he does. And Colin just watched the water like it was the most interesting thing he'd ever seen. Which honestly, maybe it was. For a while, everything felt like it was about to happen. Every small ripple in the water looked like a fish thinking about biting. Every light tug of the current felt like something worth sitting up for. And they were patient, genuinely patient. Which, if you know anything about getting a group of young men to be patient together, it's its own kind of miracle. But that's fishing. That's what fishing actually does to people. It reaches into whoever you are and pulls out a version of you that can just sit and wait and believe. Keenan was convinced multiple times that he had a bite. I felt something. That's the current. No, that was a fish. That was definitely a fish. Set the hook then. I'm waiting for the right moment. There's no fish. There's absolutely a fish. There was no fish. But then again, there almost was. And almost counts in fishing. Almost is the whole reason you go back. And then Gavin caught one. Real and actual. Catfish on the line. Not 20 pounds, not 30, but it was there. It was fighting. It was real. And when that fish came out of the water, you would have thought Gavin had landed something legendary based on the reaction from the rest of them. Because that one fish was now everything. It was the proof that the day worked. It was the punchline and payoff all at once. They took a good look at it, held it up, debated its size. Someone suggested it was bigger than it looked because the angle. Someone else said that's not how angles work. And then they let it go because that's the kind of fishing they were doing. Just to catch, just to feel it, just to know it happened. And then they packed up and came back to us. One fish, one story, everything they needed. And here's the thing, that could have landed flat. That could have been a quiet, slightly disappointing moment. But instead, we laughed. Because when you come back from the woods with 0 mushrooms and a body full of seed ticks, and the boys come back with 1 catfish, it's perfect. It's actually perfect. Because nobody won. Everybody got humbled. The outdoors took everyone down a notch. The woods said, not today. The water said, on my terms. And somehow that made it better. Because it was even. We were all in it together. We all came out with nothing but the experience. And the experience was great. Jeremy was grinning, not at the boys, just at all of it. At the whole ridiculous, beautiful, lopsided day. He looked at the one fish and nodded slowly, like a man who had made peace with outcomes he can't control. And then he said, that's a good fish, because it was. That one fish had to carry a lot of weight, and to its credit, it held up. And then we did the thing our family always does. We stood there in the fresh air and traded stories. The fishing side gave us their version. The early confidence, the waiting, the water that was definitely full of fish, just very stubborn ones. The way that first nibble felt like a signal that the big catch was coming. The way it turned out to be the only nibble. And our side gave them our version. The woods, the searching, the hope with every stick and leaf. And then, the ticks. The boys thought the tick story was incredible. The specific kind of incredible where they were glad it wasn't them, but loved hearing every detail. Keenan wanted to know exactly how many. Gavin wanted to know if we actually counted them. Colin just looked a little horrified and a little fascinated at the same time. And Tristan, being Tristan, pointed out that fishing in an open area near the water meant they avoided the whole situation entirely, which technically was true. So I pointed out that they also came home with 1 catfish, so maybe the woods were the wiser choice after all. He thought about that and conceded the point. We stood there for a good long stretch, nobody in a rush to leave, just talking, just being there in the sunlight together. The kind of moment where nobody's looking at their phone, nobody's distracted, everyone is just present. You don't plan for those moments. You can't schedule them. They just happen. And when they do, you feel them. You feel the realness of them. You feel the realness of them. The weight of how lucky you are to be standing in a gravel lot next to a bunch of woods with your whole family, talking about fish and ticks and the way the day went. That's it. That's everything. The ride home was different from the ride out. Not worse, just different. The way a full stomach feels different from an empty one. The energy had settled. Not gone, just quieter, more satisfied. The way it feels at the end of the day when your body knows it was used for something good. The boys were following behind. Some of them were dozing off. Some of them still recounting the fishing trip in hushed voices, like they were working out an official version of events for the record. Maddie had her head back, that relaxed kind of tired. The good kind. Torin was watching the trees go by out the window. Annalyn had that soft, fairway expression she gets when she's replaying the day in her head. And Jeremy was driving, one hand on the wheel. That calm, steady presence he always is behind the wheel. The kind of driving that feels like it could go on forever and nobody would mind. The spring light was coming in low through the windows. That afternoon kind of light that turns everything a little golden. The radio was on low, just low enough to hear, but not enough to pull you out of your thoughts. And I sat there looking out at the road ahead, thinking about the morning, thinking about the mushrooms we didn't find, the one catfish, the seed ticks, the laughter, the moment we all stood there together by the truck telling stories. And I thought, this is a good life. This specific, imperfect, always unexpected life. It is so good. Not because of the big things, not because everything went perfectly, but because we're in it together. Because every single day we get to try something, and sometimes it works, and sometimes the woods win. And either way, we come home laughing. I've been thinking about this day a lot since it happened, because it was one of those ordinary days that doesn't feel ordinary when you really sit with it. Nobody found the mushrooms. That was a loss. One catfish for 4 fishermen. That was a loss. A full encounter with seed ticks in the middle of the woods. That was definitely a loss. By any standard measurement of the original plan, we failed. We didn't accomplish what we set out to accomplish. And yet, when I think about that day, I don't think about losing. I don't think about what we didn't find. I think about Maddie's face when she first looked down at her legs. That split second before the chaos started. I think about Torrin shimmying in the middle of the woods. I think about Annalyn watching all of us with that quiet, deep-seeing look of hers. I think about the boys coming out of the trees with one fish, holding it like it was enough, because it was. I think about Jeremy grinning. I think about the light on the way home. These are the things I carry from that day. These are the things that stayed. And here's what I know to be true. The good days in a family's life are not always the days that go well. Sometimes the good days are the ones that fall apart in the most harmless, laughable ways. The days that give you a story. The days that remind you that the world is bigger than your plan. That nature doesn't care about your schedule. That a catfish is not obligated to cooperate with your expectations. That a seed tick does not care that you're having a perfectly nice time, and that your family, your imperfect, noisy, too much to contain family is more than enough to make even the days that don't work into something you want to remember. I think sometimes we put too much pressure on the plan. We think the destination is the thing. The mushrooms are the thing. The fish is the thing. And we spend so much time focused on getting the thing that we miss the whole experience of going after it. We miss the car ride. We miss the conversations on the trail. We miss our kids being exactly who they are in a moment that will never come back. Because here's the truth about raising a family. The time moves faster than you think, a lot faster. And the kids who are arguing about whose fish is bigger in the back seat today, they're going to be grown before you're ready for them to be. The daughter walking through the woods beside you, telling you what's on her mind, she's going to have her own life one day. Her own woods to walk through. Her own stories she'll tell her own people. And you get her now, right now, in this morning, in this imperfect, mushroomless, tick-covered morning in the spring woods. That's the gift. That's the one they don't put on the packaging. The day didn't go according to plan, but every single person in my family went to bed that night having spent a real day outside together, having shared something, having laughed at something real, having been part of a story. And that is not nothing. That is not almost enough. That is everything. I think about that day and I'm grateful, not despite how it went, but because how it went. The woods won, and I'd go back tomorrow. I'd lose all over again happily, because the losing is just the cost of admission. And the admission gets you into the day, and the day gets you into the memory, and the memory stays long after the ticks are gone. I want to say something before I let you go today. To everyone out there who is chasing something, chasing the perfect day, chasing the big catch, chasing the thing that keeps hiding from you no matter how long you look. It's okay if you don't find it. It really, genuinely is. Because the searching is the thing. The being there is the thing. the people beside you when the plan falls apart, they are the whole entire thing. Real life is not a highlight reel. Real life is a Saturday morning with your family where everything goes slightly sideways and you come home tired and a little itchy and completely full. That's what life is, and it's beautiful, messy, and loud, and unpredictable and beautiful. So if you're out there feeling like your days aren't measuring up, like you're not special enough or planned enough or perfect enough, like everyone else is out there having these big, polished, beautiful experiences, and yours just keeps coming out lopsided, I want you to hear this. Your real days are the good ones. The ones with seed ticks and 1 catfish and 0 mushrooms and a truck full of your people on the way home. Those are the days worth keeping. Those are the stories worth telling, not because they're perfect, precisely because they're not. Because real life has texture. Real life has the unexpected. Real life has the moment where your daughter looks at you from the middle of the woods and starts laughing because there is nothing else to do. And that laugh becomes one of your favorite sounds you've ever heard. You don't get that in the perfect version. You only get that in the real one. So go outside with your family. Make a plan you won't stick to. Walk into the woods. Come back with nothing. Come back with everything. Because long after the ticks are gone, the story stays. Long after you forget what you're looking for, you'll remember who is there. And that's everything. That is absolutely everything. This has been We Are the Hansons. If this story made you smile, if it reminded you of your own family, or your own days that didn't go as planned and somehow turned out better because of it, I want to hear from you. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear that the imperfect days are the good ones. Leave us a review. And if you go out morel hunting this spring, check your legs before you get back in the car. Trust me on that one. I'm Maya Hanson. This is We Are the Hansons, and we'll see you next time.
Security program on spreadsheets, new regulations piling up, and audit dread? It's time for Vanta. Vanta automates security and compliance, brings evidence into one place, and cuts audit prep by 82%. Less manual work, clearer visibility, faster deals, zero chaos. Call it compliance or call it compliance. Get it? Join the 15,000 companies using Vanta to prove trust. Go to vanta.com/calm.